I can't believe that the year 2024 is already coming to an end. Unfortunately, I didn't get to review as many boots as I did in 2022 and 2023 since I had a lot of personal commitments this year, but I still managed to test plenty of new releases from many different brands. And like every year, I've picked my top 2 football boots and my top 1 futsal shoe for the year. And this time though, I've also added 1 football boot and 4 futsal shoes as runner-ups that didn't quite make it into the very top. In this video, I'll try to keep it short by covering only the key features of each boot, so make sure to check out my full reviews from earlier this year if you want more details. The first boot on my list is probably the one you all expected, the Nike Vapor 16 Elite. To be honest, I was already sure that these would be the best football boots of the year from the moment I first tried them on this summer. They really are just that impressive. The Nike grip knit that was first introduced with the Phantom GX Elite early last year and further refined in the Phantom Luna and Phantom GX2 takes these boots to another level. And just like the previous Vapor models, it adapts to the shape of your feet really quickly, and you can even see with your own eyes where it adjusts to the bumps and dips of your foot. And the upper is super thin and stretchy, almost like wearing a pair of soft tights, but it still holds your foot firmly in place so it doesn't slide around. And every time I put them on, I'm blown away by how snug and secure they feel, and it's almost like having a pair of custom fit boots. What's also great is that in true Mercurial series fashion, the upper barely stretches out over time, so unless you're wearing them constantly, you can expect to enjoy the great lockdown yet snug feeling for a long time. Additionally, this is the first time that Atom Knit, the lightweight material that's been used in premium running shoes, has been added to the football boots, and you can really feel the difference, which is a huge upgrade compared to the previous model. Of course, I also have to talk about the Zoom Air. It's something I've already praised in previous models, and the cushioning is so good that it feels like it transforms artificial turf into cushiony natural grass, which helps absorb the pressure from the studs. And the AG studs are as long as the FG studs, but the grip isn't overly aggressive thanks to the circular studs. However, I wouldn't recommend these for low quality artificial turf, and they're much better suited for longer artificial grass fields with enough rubber pellets. The touch and shooting sensation are also super impressive. The thin upper really lets you feel the ball almost like you're dribbling in thin socks. When it comes to shooting, the sensation is better than any other football boot I've tried when you hit the sweet spot, because the boot wraps around your foot without any extra space inside. And of course, no boot is perfect, and there are a few minor drawbacks. I was curious about the waterproofing, so I poured water on them. Although the grip knit and Atom knit parts are waterproof, the fly knit on the top of the foot has small holes where water seeped in right away. Also, they perform well in most game situations, but during sudden stops or explosive starts, I noticed my foot sliding outward a bit. I think this might get worse over time, which is a little disappointing. Nevertheless, I can confidently repeat my statement from my 2022 review of the best football boots. The new Vapor 16 is just as incredible as its predecessor, and if you haven't tried them yet, I highly recommend giving them a shot. My second pick for the best football boots of 2024 is the Puma Ultra 5 Ultimate MG. This time, the upper is made of a soft textile mesh, which is completely different from the plasticky ultra weave material of previous generations. This new upper wraps tightly around your foot with no extra space, yet flexible enough inside to let your feet breathe. Even after wearing them for long periods, they stay comfortable without that stiff or uncomfortable feeling. The switch to an ortholite insole also makes a big difference because it adds more cushion that neutralizes the stiffness of the insole board. Also, the addition of the power tape in the toe box eliminates the foot sliding issue that I noticed in the Vapor 16, and it makes the Ultra 5 more responsive by allowing quicker reactions on the field. The Grip Control Pro coating on the upper is another highlight. It's not overdone, so the ball doesn't feel sticky or overly grippy. Instead, the ball always stays close to your feet, even in heavy rain. The rigidity of the outsole is really great for kicking, so it doesn't feel inferior to FG football boots in any way. As I've mentioned countless times in previous videos, Puma's MG studs strike a great balance between weight and stability. This makes them suitable for almost all artificial turf fields, except for the completely flat carpet-like fields. The sizing has also improved significantly compared to the previous model, where you had to go up half a size or by 5mm no matter what. Now they're much more true to size. And last but not least, let's not forget about the design, where Puma has really stepped up in recent years, catching up to Nike and Adidas. At this point, there's no real reason not to consider buying Puma. With such a massive transformation across the board, I honestly think that if the Vapor didn't have the Zoom Air, the Ultra 5 might have edged it out as the better boot. In fact, I found myself reaching for the Ultra 5 more often than the Vapor 16 lately, thanks thanks to the stability of the Puma's MG studs. And even on the day I filmed this video, I trained for 2 hours wearing the Ultra 5. There was one more contender I considered for the best football boot of 2024, which was the Mizuno Alpha AG made in Japan. It's been on the market for a while now, and even back then I debated whether to name it the best football boot or not. And ultimately I didn't choose it because the sizing ran too long, making it tricky to find the right fit, and the MD version felt it a bit too aggressive on artificial turf. However, this year I got a chance to try the AG version, and it was much more true to size than the MD version. Although the AG outsole is quite stiff, it offers excellent stability and traction on artificial turf. The Mizuno Alpha AG actually shares a lot in common with the Puma Ultra 5 MG, which I selected as one of my top picks this year. So I think it really comes down to personal preference. Choose the one that fits your size better. My first pick for the best futsal shoe of 2024 is the Nike Mercurial Vapor 16 Pro TF. Whenever there's a new Mercurial in the market, it tends to dominate the rankings for both football boot and futsal shoes. While that might seem a bit repetitive, there's no denying that few products managed to surpass the Mercurials. I had high hopes for the Vapor 16 Pro TF since it finally adopted Flyknit on the upper. Thankfully, it lived up to my expectations, inheriting the signature Mercurial DNA, a soft yet snug fit that wraps your foot without extra space. The outsole has also been redesigned, eliminating the occasional slipping issue from the previous model, and I haven't slipped once from wearing these. The cushioning has also been improved so that it feels softer than the previous generation. And another highlight is that it provides an excellent kick impact like football boots. However, there are also a few downsides. The upper is thicker and a bit more slippery than the Vapor 15 Pro TF or the 16 Elite, making it feel less connected to the ball. It also requires longer break-in time, but I can still feel some uncomfortable pressure in my slightly wider left foot. Perhaps my expectations were too high, but these shortcomings bothered me more than I expected. Ultimately, the Vapor 16 Pro TF lacks a distinct uniqueness, and I often find myself comparing them to the 15 Pro TF or the 16 Elite AG. Even so, this boot performs consistently well across all areas, and it offers excellent value for money thanks to its affordable price. And this is why it earned the title of the best futsal shoes of this year. As for the runner-up spot, I wrestled with my decision right up until the day I filmed this video, and in the end, none of the 4 remaining contenders felt strong enough to rival the best futsal shoes of 2022 and 2023. And since leaving it at that would feel incomplete, I'll briefly cover the pros and cons of these 4 candidates in this video, and hopefully this will help you pick the one that suits your needs the most. Recently, I reviewed the new Definiv Furia TF. I was truly impressed by its snug fit, a feeling you can only get from the top quality K leather. The ball contact areas are entirely made of K leather, giving it a snug, almost sticky touch sensation. The thin soles make it feel closer to the ground, which is excellent for precise ball control with the sole of the foot. The carbon plate stood out as well. You can really feel it propel your foot forward during sudden accelerations, and there's no noticeable loss of power when shooting. However, there are some drawbacks. The sizing runs extremely small, even when accounting for some break-in time, and this might vary depending on the individual. The outsole grip was so aggressive that I suffered an ankle twist, something I haven't experienced in years. But looking at the comments under the video, it seems I'm not alone. Others have also reported ankle injuries with Definiv boots, which suggests there could be a structural issue. Still, I have faith that they will listen to this feedback and release improved versions in the future. And earlier this year, I praised the Nike Phantom GX2 Pro TF, and I have to say the upper is impressively thin, but what really stands out is the internal lining. Instead of the typical nylon material, it's made of a soft, coated microfiber-like material that gives a unique, barefoot-like sensation, which makes it feel like you're wearing a second skin. And the touch is similar, almost like dribbling with your bare foot, and the kick is just as strong as football boot, which was impressive. And surprisingly for Nike, the Phantom GX2 Pro comes with a slightly wider fit, which is great for those with broader feet. Also, it stretches quickly, so you don't have to go through much of a break-in period. However, when I reflect on why I haven't worn it much lately, I think it's because it offers neither the tight lockdown nor the soft, plush feel of the natural leather that I prefer. Also, I am more sensitive to a lack of cushioning under the forefoot because I have Morton's neuroma. Unfortunately, the Phantom GX2 Pro doesn't offer much cushioning in that area, so it didn't feel as comfortable for me when I wore it for a long time. The Asics Calcetto 9 can really be summed up in 2 words: incredible value and generous sizing. I was lucky enough to grab a pair from Taobao for just 40 bucks, and you can't even buy the big brands like Adidas and Nike's Academy models at this price, and I honestly think that Calcetto 9 compared compares favorably to the Pro models from those big brands when it comes to comfort and overall quality. And one of its biggest strengths is the 2E size, which means you don't need any break-in time period, making it perfect for beginners in football or futsal, or even for kids whose feet are growing fast. However, there are a few downsides. The sole isn't particularly hard or soft, and the touch on the ball doesn't feel as premium as I'd like. And the last one on the list is Joma FS Reactive. The new Reactive midsole is really something special. It's got this perfect balance of cushion and responsiveness, and it is very cushiony that you cannot feel the hardness of the ground at all. And the bouncy and responsive feel reminds me of the Zoom Air from Nike. When dribbling through the toe box area, you can feel your feet are very much connected to the ball. However, Joma boots are kind of unique because their fit is pretty bulky like sneakers, something that people either love or hate, and this can make your kick feel a bit less connected to the ball. Personally, I think if Asics could somehow slap this reactive midsole onto their C3, that would be the ultimate futsal shoes. So here's the bottom line. When it comes to football boots and futsal shoes, the best product isn't about the price or the brand, it's the one that fits your feet perfectly. Every boot I've featured from 2022 and to now is a solid choice if you get the right size, and you definitely won't regret the purchase. But if I had to pick my all-time favorites, I'd go with the Mizuno Morelia 4 made in Japan, the new Vapor 16 Elite, and the Asics C3 for futsal shoes. And these are definitely the 3 boots that you've got to try out if you have a chance. For this video, I've mixed things up a bit by including some runner-up candidates that didn't quite make it into the very top. And I'm really curious to hear what you thought of this new format, so please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm looking forward to another year where I will provide you with an even wider range of honest and reliable reviews.